Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am so happy to have on Klep. He has a brand new record out. It's called Chatter in the Skull. This thing is fantastic, and I'm super excited to talk to him all about it. How are you doing today? What's going on?
I'm doing real well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is the highlight of my day. I
Oh,
fully mean that. Like, I've been looking forward to it because I've been listening to this record truly since this morning, and it's just been on a loop all day.
awesome. That's great to hear, man. I too have been looking forward to this as well. We mostly dabble with like a real underground community, and this feels more not my normal audience and stuff. I've been real excited to
Cool.
showcase this to other people besides my general community, you know?
You absolutely should. I mean, listen, I think when it comes to hip hop, there's been this massive resurgence nowadays where a lot of the mainstream stuff gets, the headlines. But when it comes to hip hop and me personally, I find myself to be very picky. So when I first listened to this all the way through, no bias about it, it really took me because it's not just your standard boring hip hop album. Not to like slander the others, but
Oh no.
you've really gone above and beyond here and created something that is experimental but not too overbearing. Something that really thrives on the production but isn't super in your face. Like, I don't know how to explain it without people just listening to it, but that's kind of where I want to jump in here. So we're going to get to the production, but I kind of want to kick it off with what inspired the creation of this because it feels very conceptual.
Yeah. I'm a big concept album type of person anyway.
Yeah.
But this particular record has been something that I feel like I've struggled with my entire life. You know, those
Really?
intrusive thoughts, the negative inner monologue that's always trying to. I feel like a lot of people can relate to this too.
Yeah.
We've always got this voice inside of us telling you you're not good enough, or your music's not good enough,
True.
or you're not making the proper decisions, and why aren't you further in life, and this and that, man. And I feel like part of the process of my music is, and since this album's been out, I feel like I've been coping and dealing with that so much better than I ever have been able to my entire life. So actually putting this on paper and then to audio format has basically been my therapy for me, to
That's what
try
I was
to
going to
get away from
say. It feels like a cathartic experience, not only like in the sound and style of the record, but the way that you deliver it all. And I think, I honestly think just being an independent artist, for some reason, people kind of want to hate you. You know what I'm saying? Because people wish they could be creative. People think that, oh, making music is easy. Oh, you just go into the studio and you do it, but they don't understand that it's like a full time thing. It always lives with you. So, it's like, how do you think these big artists started? They didn't start out big, they had to start somewhere. And they're trying new things and they're trying to be different. And that's exactly what you're doing here. This feels like the type of record that, and again, I know I'm fully blowing up your ego right now, but it's extremely well deserved. Like,
Thank you
it's
so
the
much.
type of record where it's like, it feels like it's going to spread by word of mouth because it's so intriguing and interesting.
I sure
So,
hope so.
I hope so too. In terms of lyricism, in terms of stories, how did you conceptualize it? Like, is it a series of individual stories, or is this sort of like an overarching thing going on here?
A little column A, a little column B. I had some friends slash fans ask me if some of the lyrics in there, were based on real life stuff, or if it was, just a story that I kind of came up with. And some of the tracks are just stories.
Yeah,
Um, the track "Mundane," for example, is a really good example. That's just a story. I didn't go crazy and go on some spree or anything, like
sure.
but like starting from Brain Spasm, the intro,
Yeah.
through Chatter in the Skull, those are very real life things, things that I went through as a child. Little bit of, I don't think I was an abused child, but there was in the Brain Spasm song I talk about getting choke slammed and by a parent and missing the bed and cracking my skull open on the headboard. That actually
Wow.
happened. So I mean, yeah, little column A, little column B. I like
I
to take my life
understand.
experiences and kind of twist them a little bit sometimes. But I also speak truth in my music too. So
I understand, and I kind of think it speaks to that cathartic experience because I think for a lot of artists, lyrics almost act as a diary. You know what I mean? Like diary,
Absolutely.
it has the connotation of, girls writing in a journal, but I think at the same time, it's this is your music. Your name is on it. You know what I mean? It's your words, it's your stories, it's all you. And therapy is a good way to put it, but why not put those stories into something that is a living, breathing piece of art? And I think that's what you've done here. Do you
Thank you.
feel like a weight has been lifted off of you after this thing being released and kind of, I mean, even in the process of making it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I take note of the things, and after I started writing it down, and realizing, okay, I've been this way my whole life. It is time to like
Sure.
put this out and put it behind me. And I
Yeah.
still have issues with overthinking. I'm
Sure.
probably always going to, but it's not where it's like crippling and like feels like it takes over anymore. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
feels a lot better.
Good. No, I'm thrilled to hear that. And like I said, I think just putting pen to paper and even just kind of rehashing some of those traumas by making the music can make you feel better. Whether it's
Absolutely.
music or just real life or dealing with whatever your problems are, like that's kind of the way to do is confront it head on. So
Absolutely.
I respect it.
Thank you so
And then
much.
you're welcome. So we need to talk about the production here because it's
Sure.
it's amazing. It's amazing. Truly, like
Thank you.
every single song feels like you had a vision for it in the way that it was going to go. In the sounds, like I said, it's experimental. There's surprises. Not one song on this record feels mundane or phoned in. So like how did it work behind the scenes in terms of like do you have collaborators working on the production? Is it you? How did the blueprint get put together here?
Well, I used several different producers for this album. Beatbox Jake, starting with the intro. He was actually how I heard of you guys. He had
Sweet.
contacted you guys. You guys made a post about him on your
Hell yeah.
socials and everything, and that's how I came in contact with you guys. And yeah, and as far
Sweet.
as the rest of the production, I'm also in a group called Biokillers,
Okay.
which is the artwork behind me there, the Bo
Sweet.
Peep EP.
Love that.
I've been in that group forever, and I just started venturing off more so into the solo stuff. But my buddy, the other member, Saint Cinna of Biokillers, he is usually the producer guy for everything,
Yeah.
So he's been showing me the ropes. I only produced one track on this album, which was track number 5, Hyperactive,
Cool.
which is basically about my personality. I'm a real high energy type of person.
Sweet.
Other than that, everybody else on that I got for production were people from the underground community that I'm a part of. I've got Jay Reno on some beats, Bank Hard beats, a guy by the name of Thick Chris. I used all sorts of different producers from different angles of the underground that I'm a part of, and the
That's
same way with
awesome,
the
man.
collaborations on there. My buddy from Biokillers, Saint Cinna, he's on Drag You Down to Hell with me. And then I got, again, other artists from different corners of the underground, different styles, and as well as artists from my own state, too. I'm from Michigan,
Cool.
and I've always been inspired and uh, ah, what's the word I'm looking? I've always been inspired by Michigan made music. I love my
Sure.
state. I represent. I've got it tatted on me and everything,
Hell
man. I
yeah.
love Michigan.
I
I'm
love
very true
Michigan
to my
too. That's
roots.
where all my family's from. Truly.
Really
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
nice.
That's awesome, man. Listen, it makes me so happy to know that it wasn't just you because I know how isolating making music can be, whether it's producing or writing or whatever it is. The fact that you've involved your entire community in a project that I know that you have collaborators listed on the track listing, but that literally it was like a community effort to make this thing is such a beautiful thing because it's like you do me this favor, I'm going to do this for you. You promote me, I'm going to promote you. And it just, I don't know. I feel like music can be such a dog eat dog world and there's such a
Mhm.
competitive nature to it. The fact that you've opened it up and you have these connections, it's a really beautiful thing to say the least.
Thanks, and I agree. I agree. Networking, I feel, is very important, especially these
Yeah.
days where we've all got social media. We've all got all these different
Yes.
outlets. that
Exactly.
we can share our art with all of our different fan bases. And
Right.
sometimes it hits and connects and sometimes it doesn't, but at least it's out there for people to find and enjoy and hopefully relate to.
Exactly. Exactly. Now I have sort of what I would call an impossible question because there's no right answer to it.
Okay.
Obviously, the record is hip hop, but there's like a
Mhm.
million different subgenres that you could list it under. How are you pitching this to people? How are you explaining this is the type of record that I made?
I've been calling it alternative hip hop.
Okay. I
Some
feel like that's a pretty wide umbrella.
It is, yeah.
It
I mean, some
is.
people have grouped us into the horrorcore category, and I don't like to box myself in too much. I mean, there
Yeah,
are some songs that I feel like could be considered horrorcore,
sure.
but I don't know. I don't really, which is why I choose alternative hip hop to describe it because it's like I try to dabble in a lot of different things, and I don't want to box myself in and
Yeah.
maybe be off putting to someone who's like, oh well, I don't like horrorcore. I'm not going to check this album out. You
Especially
know.
for no one who's heard that genre before, it's not something that you're like, oh, I'm going to check that out. Like, it just is
It's
not an inviting name to say the
Right. It's very
least.
niche,
Yeah,
And coming from Michigan, it's pretty big in Michigan. I mean, we
sure.
got the Insane Clown Posse, Esham,
Yeah.
Twisted, Eminem early Eminem could be considered even horrorcore.
It's true,
So,
but I think the average Eminem listener has no idea what that is, to be
oh,
fully
I would
honest
agree
with
with
you.
that
We're
wholeheartedly.
trying to
Absolutely.
expand beyond Michigan to the world right now. And I
Yes,
think, and with that
absolutely.
being said, I think alternative hip hop is kind of the best way to label this for the mass market at least.
Nice for the win.
Are are you familiar with the group Clipping by
Yes,
chance?
I love clipping. I
Yeah,
love clipping.
I love
Yes.
Clipping. They're probably in my top three favorite hip hop groups. And halfway through listening to this, it totally channeled what Clipping does for me, which again, if you've listened to them and anyone who's listening to this has listened to them, if they scratch that itch in doing hip hop different, this is exactly why I like this record because it's very much hip hop, but it's doing something different without trying too hard, which is so difficult to do in a genre that people are releasing albums every day. So, very in line with Clipping and what they're doing.
Thank you
I
so
love
much,
that.
man. That's an honor to be compared to
Yeah,
them. Like,
truly, truly, truly.
yeah,
Um,
I love them. They're great.
Another thing I wanted to mention, which I don't usually mention, but it kind of struck me was I find that the first impression that anyone is going to have on your music is the album artwork. And I
Mm,
find that sometimes when an album artwork doesn't necessarily line up with what you're going to hear, you get kind of like a skewed feeling about it.
hmm
What was the thought process in creating that? And did you create it based on the sound of the record?
Well, I worked with another artist. I actually worked with two graphic artists for this album as well. One for the
Sweet.
cover art and one for the merch design as well.
Awesome.
The cover art, I've actually got it right here. This was done up
Hell
by
yeah.
Claire McNasty, a rapper from I believe I think he lives in Texas now. But
Cool.
yeah, I've known McNasty for a long time. He's real prominent in the underground scene. He's done work with like ICP and stuff like that, some graphic work here and there. But
Sweet.
we kind of got together and we just started tossing around some ideas. And I sent him a picture that I wanted to use for the album art, and I gave him the idea of the door and the window, like the door by my ear and the
Yeah,
window
yeah.
for an eye. So that way, things are always going in and out of my mind and there's
Nice.
really no stopping it. The door is just a wooden door. It doesn't look like it has any locks on it. The window is a clear pane. So things are always going in and out of my mind. So that was real fun to work with him. He came up with the idea of the tentacles. He's like, all right. He's like, I'm digging your
Okay.
idea. He's like, but when you feel constricted and like you can't, control what's really going on, he's like, I think the tentacles would be a real good look to add to that. And the rest is pretty much history. We just tossed around the ideas
Hell
and
yeah.
got to where we are. And while we're on the topic, if you don't mind, real quick, I uh
Worries.
I came up. I remember like growing up. I always saw back when physical media was a lot more popular. I always loved seeing those cool stickers on the CD that said like produced by or featuring
Yeah,
such and such artist. Right. Well,
right.
I was like, I'm going to pay homage to the things that I respect and
That's what I'm
loved when I
saying.
was growing up. So I did that with this album, and I had skull-shaped stickers made that show all the featured
Dude,
artists,
amazing.
shows
That's
all
what
the
I'm
featured
saying right there.
artists,
I
and
love
it
that.
fits over my head perfectly. So everybody that buys the copy of the album, they get this sticker with, and I always throw in extra merch items like
Sure,
stickers and stuff
sure.
with it. But they get this on top of it. And if you haven't seen the regular, if you're just a regular person at a concert, you don't even know what the rest of the CD looks like until you open it up.
I love
Your
that, man.
first time seeing me or something, you're going to be surprised. So I thought that was
Listen,
cool.
I'm gonna plug you at the end, but for everyone, we're gonna have the links so that you can check all this stuff out. I love and respect that because I mean I don't know how old you are. I think maybe we're similar in age, but I also remember going to the store, getting the CDs, being like, "Oh, I want to get this CD. Oh, who's on it?" You know what I'm saying? It gives you like a little window into what you might be buying, and it's such a great thing.
Yeah,
Love that
yeah. It's
so
just that
much.
it's that little bit of extra that, it goes a long way, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So, have you had the opportunity to play any of these songs live? Like, is that something that you've done or in the works?
I have. We're steady busy. We mostly perform under Biokillers. That's where we kind of started and everything. But recently, since this album's come out, I've done probably half a dozen solo shows since.
Hell yeah.
Um, and the first show that I did was the weekend this album came out, and I started out with the intro song, Brain Spasm, and it's kind of
Nice.
psycho sounding and everything. Well, while the intro of that song was playing, I came in from a side entrance onto the stage, fully done up in a straight jacket, and
Yes.
I had shackles on my feet and chains around my back and everything. And my wife was dressed up as a doctor, name tag, glasses, full
Holy
doctor
shit.
wardrobe, and everything. And she was leading me to the stage. And as the intro music is playing and everything, I'm kind of lunging out at the stage and shit.
This is
Like
amazing.
really putting in the
You're
theatrics
given the
about it.
stage production. That's what we need. See, okay, and that's another big complaint I have just with hip hop in general is like 90% of hip hop shows that I see are just like a rapper getting up there and kind of just like rapping over a backing track and like getting like every other sentence. I need
Yeah.
that. I need that every show that I go to.
Yeah, I can't stand that, man. As
Yeah,
a real big hip hop fan, we don't use we'll leave some of our ad libs on the track, but other than that, we're rapping
sure.
over the instrumentals. We don't
That's what
use
I'm saying.
backtracking. That's to me. I mean, to each their own. But to
Yeah,
me, that just seems lazy. It seems like you don't practice your stuff. You don't learn the breath control. You don't know
right,
your stuff
right.
well enough to get out there and really impress a crowd, in my
I
opinion.
I could not possibly agree more, man. It's all about telling a story. You know what I mean? Anyone can get on stage and sing the songs or rap the songs or whatever it is, but you want to leave people with a lasting impression. You want to be like,
Absolutely.
are you going to remember this show tomorrow? Are you going to tell your friends that the next time you come in town to see them? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
the live music space is so incredibly crowded. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles. There's literally 10 concerts a night and they're fighting for your ticket price. You know, they're fighting for your money. What are you going to do that makes you different? That's it. Do that.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
it was real cool too, because that song, the intro song, it's a longer song, especially for an intro.
Sure.
It's a 5 minute song.
Yeah.
My wife had 5 minutes to get all of this stuff off of me
Oh,
because I
right.
did the whole
Exactly.
song in the
Yeah.
straight jacket. So she had 5 minutes to get everything unhooked and release me from my shackles and
Yeah.
everything. And there's
Yeah.
multiple sets of keys. And so by the end of the song, I was free. And then I ended up going
That's
on to do
awesome.
like 20 more minutes. And yeah, it
Hell
went
yeah.
over real well.
Very
I
cool.
was real stoked. So
Very cool. I have a couple more questions for you. I want to know from someone like you that's been ingrained in the scene for so long, obviously there had to have been music in your life that propelled you to start making your own music. Are there a few influential albums that you couldn't live without that kind of, was like, I think I need to do this for myself?
oh man, yeah. Let's see. What really got me into this stuff, to be honest, way back in the day was a little red Ghostbusters cassette tape.
Okay,
Yeah, from the
cool.
original Ghostbusters movie. I
Hell
was
yeah.
real little, and I popped that
Sure.
into a a cassette player, and I knew every song on that little red cassette tape, dude. Like, and I
Amazing.
would just
I could have guessed 1,000 albums, and that wouldn't even been in a
yeah,
thousand.
that's what initially started it. Like I would pretend like I was throwing concerts on my parents' bed when I was like 8 years old, and my mom would be
Nice.
trying to take care of laundry, and I'd be throwing shirts out to the crowd, you know.
Sure,
But
sure.
but as far as like actual artists, I would say when I was younger, I was heavily into the Juggalo scene and everything, you know.
Cool, cool.
Um, so I would say ICP's Great Malenko album, 97, and then Eminem's Slim Shady LP were probably the two most inspirational albums growing up for me.
Amazing.
So,
Keeping it local. I respect it.
yeah, yeah, it's Michigan roots all day
There
over
you
here.
go. Okay, so my last thing for you here is it's pretty much like for the person that is going to discover you from this interview, what is sort of an opening message or something you'd like to say to them before they listen to the album for the first time?
Ah, ooh, this is a tricky one here.
Yeah,
Um,
no right answers, no wrong answers.
right. I would say just like with any music, go into it not with expectations, go into it with an open mind. Just be ready for something new and exciting, something different. Not every track will probably. I mean, there's a wide variety of different kinds of tracks on the album. I feel. Maybe none of them are for you, and that's okay too. You know, music is subjective.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna like everything that any artist puts out. So yeah, I would just say be open minded, and I hope you enjoy it.
I think that's a perfect answer, truly. And
Thanks, man.
I wanna thank you so much sincerely for taking the time to do this. But before we
Absolutely,
wrap
thank you.
up, I wanna plug the music for you. So for everyone out there who didn't know, I'm speaking with Klep right now. The record is called Chatter in the Skull. We will have the links to everything so you can listen, share, follow along, grab a CD, stay tuned for more. They'll be in the article and everywhere else. But again, this was great. Like I love talking to you. You have such a bright energy about you. This was awesome.
Thanks, man. Likewise, I had a great time. Yeah, this has been awesome. Hopefully, we can link up sometime in the future. Maybe when the next
Yeah,
album drops, we can
absolutely.
hop in and talk about that too. That'd be fun.
Cool, man. Well, in that case, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and I hope to speak soon.
Thanks, Austin. It was a pleasure,
Sweet.
man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you too. Talk later. Bye bye.
Yep.
See ya.